Hi everyone and welcome to Magdalene College. This is my college at Cambridge and I've just finished my Masters in Philosophy of Science at Magdalene, so I'm going to show you around today. This is First Court in Magdalene. It's the first court that you walk into when you come in past the Porter's Lodge, and this is kind of the main thoroughfare for everything. It's got the chapel, the MCR, the JCR, the bar, all of those just go off from First Court. No. This is the Porter's Lodge. It's where you come to if you have any questions. It's staffed 24/7, and you also have your own pigeonhole where you get things and post. And yeah, if you have any problems or any questions about anything whilst you're at Magdalene, you can always go and speak to the friendly porters here. And yeah. Oh my god, it scares me every single time that baby family there. This is the Parcel Room. This was the JCR, but during COVID they turned it into a Parcel Room. I don't know why. And now the JCR is the same place as the bar. Your parcels are put here if it's too big to go in the pigeonhole. Let's not show people's names, maybe. Your parcels go here, and yeah, the porters will do it all for you. So if you have a parcel delivered, you can just pop down here and get it. This building behind me is Benson Hall. It's where you'll have like little in-college events and drinks and stuff. It's not really used for much other than that, but it's quite a nice little hall. This room next to me is called the Parlor. Ooh, fancy. It's a nice little room that's used for small events and catering. Right now there's some sort of conference going on where the Director of Studies, I guess, are deciding how much they should be paid. Yeah, so we won't go inside, but yeah, it's just a little nice room with about a big table with about 20 chairs around it. Behind me is the chapel. It's obviously it was founded as an Anglican chapel, but it's a place for students of all faiths and none to come and relax and enjoy the peace and quiet. There are chapel services held that you can go to, and you can also join the choir if you want. This is the chapel. It's definitely one of the smaller chapels in Cambridge. It's quite small, but I really like it. It's usually empty like this, so it's quite nice to come and just have a sit, but sometimes when you're walking past in the evening you'll hear the choir practicing or the organ playing, and it's really nice. The chapel has stained glass windows around it all, and it's all about the life of Mary Magdalene, which is what Magdalene College is named after. Don't ask about why it's pronounced differently, that's just something else, but yeah, so Magdalene College is named after St Mary Magdalene, and obviously she plays a part in the iconography, does that make sense, of the college. The chapel here is one of the oldest parts of the college, if not the oldest, and it has a long history because Magdalene College was originally founded as like a monk hostel where they'd come and stay whilst they did their studies, and they decided to place Magdalene College just over the other side of the river to keep the monks away from all the debauchery of the town, and as a result Magdalene is the only Riverside Cambridge college that's on the other side of the river. Like most Cambridge colleges that have a chapel, this chapel also comes with a chaplain. The chaplain here is lovely, her name is Sarah, and she's always there to provide a listening ear if you have any problems about religion, or if it's anything just anything else. She also has a pastoral role where she'll just be happy to listen to you. Her room is essentially like upstairs and behind me in a staircase, and that is also C.S. Lewis's old room. And if you go and see her, you will get a cup of tea, a biscuit, and a chance to sit in C.S. Lewis's armchair, which is really cool. This room I'm standing in right now is the MCR, which stands for Middle Combination Room. It's basically a common room for postgraduate students. There's also a JCR, which is Junior Combination Room, and that one is for undergraduates. So the MCR is a place where you can just chill out, congregate, some little events happen in here. We might do live streams of Formula 1 at the weekend using this little projector thing behind me. There's way too many chairs in here for some reason, and some definitely need to be called, but yeah. We also have random pictures of white men, I don't know who they are. But this is a very Cambridgey room to me. It's very cool to sit in here like next to the fireplace and be reading a book like, oh yes, I'm a scholar. We also have newspapers and magazines that are brought in every week. Oh, let me get around here. We get the weekly newspapers and magazines for things, which is very good for reading. We have our croquet set in here. Ooh. There we go, you can't really see it, but this is for playing croquet on the lawns in the summer because Cambridge. It's a little messy, ignore the little snacks that are there. This is a view out the window. There's a nice window seat that I quite like to sit on sometimes. And in here it is, wow, it is a mess, okay. It's a mess, but this is a tiny little kitchen where you can make tea and coffee and things. I mean, you could not make anything right now. But we normally have someone on the MCR committee whose job it is to keep this place tidy. I'm not sure who it is right now, they've probably gone home for the summer. And here you can see pictures of all the past MCRs, even from when before Magdalene were accepting women. And then this was the first year they accepted women, and look, there's just 4 ladies, which is crazy. Magdalene unfortunately does have that reputation of like, people joke about it being the sexist college because it was the last college to admit women in 1989 out of all of Oxford and Cambridge. But that is not the case now. I promise you it is not sexist in any way. Yeah, the MCR isn't just this physical room, it's also the graduate community as well at Magdalene. This means we have our own president and socials officer. We'll do swaps with other MCRs. We're currently organising a swap with Magdalene College, Oxford, which is our sister college, for the summer. What this means is we'll go to Magdalene College, Oxford for a formal dinner and they'll come here. Friends. We also hold a yearly sports day against other Magdalene because, you know, enemy. This behind me is another random Cambridge thing, which is C.S. Lewis's drinks cabinet in the MCR, because that is just a thing. And this is actually C.S. Lewis's bookcase as well, which is actually not in the best condition. It's got a lot of like DVDs in here.
C.S. Lewis's own DVDs.
Oh, I can't open
the chair's in front of it.
The chair's in the way because there's too many chairs, but C.S. Lewis's own DVD collection.
C.S. Lewis has his own copy of Joan Nesbø's The Snowman and the Leopards.
This is the bar, but it's also being used as the JCR right now. It's a little bit dark in here, but there are lights. Students can work in the bar. Normally, I think they're getting into redoing that soon, but normally you can work at the bar whilst you're at Cambridge if you want. It's quite new actually with all the furniture. I believe all this furniture here is brand new. It's a little bit of a mess as well. But there's a TV here with a Wii games console that you can play on. I've often come down here in the evening and just popped on the TV and sat on the sofa. It's a bit like being at home. We have this old fireplace. I don't think the fireplaces here are used anymore for health and safety. Dartboard, more random chairs, random stuff. No, it's really nice. I like the bar, JCR, whatever it is. The JCR is the undergraduate community at Magdalene. It's much like the MCR, made up of like a little committee with a socials officer, president, etc. This is kind of their space, but as postgraduates, because this is also the bar, we can use it as well. Nice. This is just from a graduate student perspective, but one of the reasons I actually picked Magdalene was because it said it would house all the graduates on site or nearby. And when they said on site, they weren't kidding, because my room is at the top of this princessy tower here. It is above the bar, but I don't think it really gets noisy. The walls are quite thick. This is Magdalene's formal hall. We usually, outside of COVID, we had formals every single night during term time, but we only have it 3 nights a week now, only, and we're looking to increase that back up to 7 days a week now. This is where you'll sit down, have a 3-course meal, they bang a gong, say something in Latin, there's a high table where the master and the fellows sit, and it's all lit by candlelight, which can get quite dark in the winter. This is second court, and behind me is the Peeps Library, which is one of the prettiest parts of Magdalene. I think everyone agrees. It's really nice. The bottom of it is used as a study space right now. It used to be the actual library, but we built a new one that's much bigger that I will also show you. The top part is the actual Peeps Library exhibition, and you can go and see all kinds of cool stuff if you just get in touch with the Peeps librarian, and she will happily show you around. Apart from that, in this court there's not much else apart from the buttery. The buttery is basically where you have your daily meals that aren't your formal hall meals. You will just go there and you can grab some food. It's subsidised by the college, so it's a bit cheaper, and yeah. This is Ramsey Hall, or Ramsey for short, and it is where you will eat your daily meals that aren't informal hall. You can just grab your food from the buttery. Is that a buttery? You can just grab your food from the buttery and bring it in through here and get some food. This is the kind of bottom cloister of Peeps. That is a study space. This used to actually be the college library. As you can see, we have all these sad empty bookshelves because all the books have been moved over into the new library. But they've still opened up this place as just a place for people to study now. So it's just more room and more spots to study in. I like old libraries, so I prefer studying here to the new one, but it's nice to have that choice. I like that they've still kept the character of it. This is probably my favourite spot to study in. You can watch outside. There's a little window seat here. It's good for hiccups. It's good for Greek study. Now we're around the back of Peeps Library. You can really see the library's facade and how it's very different on the back. This is wide open space. This is where you would bring the croquet kit that we mentioned earlier. There's a long Riverside Walk all the way around to the other side of the college there. And yeah, I don't think there's much else around here apart from this brand new library that was literally only opened last year, 2021. So we'll go and take a look inside. First of all, in this new library we have a little social space. Oh, this artwork is new. Nice. It's called the Rowan Williams room after the previous master. There is a little kitchen here with a really high-tech tap. that you can use to get like boiling water or really cold fresh water. And this is somewhere that you can chill and chat in between studying in the library. It's a nice spot.
I didn't realise he jumps up when you do that. Maybe will you get a photo of this?
Okay, right. So this place that me and Frankie are speaking to you from is behind the new library here. Thank you. Oh, he's having a lie down. This is actually the pet cemetery, somewhere we hope Frankie does not end up. It's a very random and slightly morbid part of Magdalene actually, but I actually quite like it. It's a random little quirky thing we have. Just graves of masters, old dead pets. And thank you for joining us, Frankie. Special guest star.
Okay. Look how sweet he is.
Have a good nap.
Night night.
This is Riverside Walk. It's the way you go to Magdalene if you want to get to Crips Court, which is some more undergraduate accommodation. It takes you to the other end of Magdalene basically. Now Magdalene is quite cool because it has the longest river frontage of all the colleges at Cambridge. So we have all this lovely long stretch of river to walk next to. And we even have our own swans that are nesting as well. It's really nice. It's definitely one of my favourite parts. You also hear punters go past and do their tours and they tell you all about Magdalene. These are some of the graduate accommodation that you could be staying in if you're a postgraduate at Magdalene. It's really nice as it's right over the river, but you can also hear, this is Jesus Green here, a really big wide green space as the name implies, and you can hear there's some sort of like festival thing happening right now. It's Pride! Oh! Yes, it is Pride happening right now. Amazing. So yeah, it's cool because we are also right next to the boathouse as well basically. It's like a 10-minute walk down that way. We're the closest college to the boathouse. If you want to try out rowing as a little Cambridge thing, or if you're an experienced rower, that's cool.
You've got an insect in your hair.
Thanks.
But I kept filming.
Thanks. Is it gone?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really nice if you get one of these houses. They're proper little cottages with this view over here. And I love it because it means the graduate community at Magdalene is all together. We're not like put off into different sites or anything. We're all like close. So where you can see those gates behind me is Crips Court. It's a modern accommodation for undergrads. You can choose to stay in this one or older accommodation if you wish. The rooms are really nice inside and you will have your own kitchens. This is River Court. It's the part of Magdalene of the old buildings that face the river. As you can hear, it's quite noisy because River Court is next to Quayside, which is where all the locals and non-Magdalene students congregate. There's also more Magdalene accommodation across this river. All of this red brick building and this white building here is Magdalene accommodation, and it has great views, of course. I live up there on the top floor. I'm not going to point out where exactly, but I'm on the top floor. This is a beautiful court, and it's nice that it's still kept private, like all the locals are there, but here it's still nice and empty. Punting goes by here, and it's also where a punting station is, so you will be asked by punting promoters fairly often if you fancy going punting today, unless you look enough like a student. So I always feel proud when they don't ask me, because it's like, yeah, you know I'm a student. The bridge behind me is the original bridge over the River Cam that Cambridge is named after. It's not actually still the original bridge, it has been like rebuilt, but this is what gave Cambridge its name, which is very cool. You can also see Fitzbilly's over there, and that's a really good coffee shop that you will no doubtly come to know and love. And there is also lots of other food places alongside here. There's Lassie Cabanas, there's Prezzo, there's another cafe over there. It's good. Did you see them having a make-out session? I bet it's really empty here now. There's like no window. Here is the village. It is just across the road from Magdalene, and this is the main sort of undergraduate hub. It's pretty much all undergraduate accommodation here, although there is the college nurse around here, and there's also some offices such as the headquarters office. As a graduate, I don't come here that often, except to use the beach, which I will talk about next. Before we just head to the beach, which sounds very exciting, I just want to tell you a bit more about the accommodation here. I think they've said that the accommodation here is built from like every century since the college was founded. So it's like 15th century, 16th century, 17th, 18th, 19th. Basically, you get the idea. So, for example, you can have this nice old building. This is called the Lutyens building. The gym is in the basement, and there's also a computer room. Or you could have this, which is probably the ugliest building in Magdalene. It's called Benson O. It's ugly, but hey, the rooms are modern inside, and you don't have to look at the building when you're inside it, so. This part is called the beach because I guess it's like land next to water, I don't know. This is grass that you can sit on, and it's really nice to chill here, especially in the summer. Watch the punts go past, and this is also where Magdalene launches its own punts from, one you can see right behind me. I think we're looking at getting kayaks as well. It's quite noisy now because this is a very busy time of day at the weekend. It's not normally as manic as this, but there are quite a lot of punts and people at the moment. The organ scholars room is this room here with the really big windows, so you know, if you're a little organist, you can live there, I guess. This is editing Savannah to say that is basically the tour of Magdalene College. I hope you enjoyed, and put any questions you've got in the comments. Bye.